So this hutch is totally not my style. It's probably like late 70s, early 80s, but it's made by Drexel, which means solid wood, dovetail drawers, super good construction. So we're gonna try to give it a little bit of a farmhouse finish. We went ahead and we wiped it all down. It's not super shiny, so there's no need to get into sanding or anything. And Zeb's gonna paint it with fairy chalk mother in dinnermint.
This hutch is pretty big. It's taller than I am, so we're gonna spray it. We could brush this pretty easily, but it'll be a lot easier to spray it. I've got the fairy chalk paint all mixed up in dinnermint, and I've got 3 parts paint to 1 part water. It's a 20-ounce hopper, so basically 15 ounces of paint to 5 ounces of water. Then I mixed it up real good. I have my air pressure turned up quite a bit. I have the air turned up about 90 psi on the compressor. In past videos, I've recommended to spray right around 55 psi, but I've gone to just adjusting this here till I get my flow just right. And you can get a regulator in line that you can use, but I like to just do it like this. It's quick and easy, and I get a good result. We're leaving the glass in. We don't want the inside of the hutch to get any paint or overspray on it. And then after it's painted, I'll go back in, we're gonna remove the glass and put some hardware cloth in here and give it more of a farmhouse look. Alright, so this is already finished with the spraying. It took me about 7-8 minutes to spray the entire hutch, and as you can see, I mean, it's taller than I am, it's a big hutch. So what I did was, I've got this opened up all the way. This is your paint flow adjustment, and so that's opened up all the way, so I'm getting maximum paint flow down through the air. And then I just adjusted this until I had the right spray so it wasn't misting too much, but it also wasn't just running like crazy off my piece and putting too much paint on at the same time. And then that's pretty much all there is to it. 3 parts paint, 1 part water. Make sure this is adjusted correctly and this is adjusted correctly. Run about 90 psi out of your compressor, and then make your small air pressure adjustments right here at the bottom. So I did have to come back through on a couple spots where I was a little light around the trim and I had missed, but all in all, this is 1 coat coverage with the dinnermint in fairy chalk mother. I mixed up, this was 15 ounces of paint plus 5 ounces of water. You can see the consistency there. It's pretty runny, but it also helps it spray really well. I strained it beforehand. I didn't show that. I've got another video that I've shown where I've strained the paint and how to do that. So this is the consistency you want, and after spraying this big old huge hutch, I still have about half of my hopper of mixed up paint left, but I'll show you how I do the clean out on this. So in the winter time, I can't necessarily clean it out because it's like a frozen winter wonderland out here, but I've just got the hose here. I'm gonna fill this up pretty much all the way, maybe leave a little room at the top so that I can shake it up, give it a good shake, and then what I do is I've got it hooked to the air hose. I'm just going to spray this paint out of here. I've never had a problem with this coming off the grass. It doesn't stain it or hurt it. I've never had it kill the grass. I've been doing this for about 3 years like this now, so no issue. So this is still kind of foamy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that. If you're really worried about your grass, just dilute it a little. Mine usually goes away as soon as the sprinklers come on in the morning. It'll water it down, you won't see it because it's a water-based paint. Now I'm going to fill this back up about 3/4 of the way full. And then what I do is I just take my finger right here, and that cleans out my filter and all of these pipes in here. What I'm doing is I'm forcing the air back up through, and it pushes that water back up into the hopper, and then that cleans everything out real nice. So a couple rinses there. Fill this up about 3/4 again. I got nice clean water coming out. Okay, so going for some manual sanding. Got the palm sander out here. It's really just foam that I put the 220 grit on top of. And I'm just gonna hit all these edges. I'm gonna hit the whole thing with this, and then if I don't like the way it blended, I'm gonna do the wet distress on it too. Alright, so I've got this spot here where it looks more like it just got scratched and it's not very natural looking. So I'm just gonna take this here and just kind of blend that in. Just real light. And this is just real damp cloth. It's not very wet at all. Alright, so I've got a separate gun for my sealer so that I don't have to worry about cross-contamination just in case I don't get my paint gun cleaned all the way out right, so that there's no paint in there tinting my sealer. And I've got Sweet Pickins top coat in here. When I spray Sweet Pickins top coat, I used to spray it just full strength. Now I use 9 parts sealer and then 1 part water just to water it down just a little bit. I feel like it helps it spray a little bit better. Alright, so I've already got 1 coat of top coat on here and it's pretty much dried. It's been sitting on here for an hour and I can scratch it, it doesn't come off, so I'm good to go. I'm going to do 1 more coat since it's a hutch and it may end up in someone's kitchen or dining room. If something spills on it or gets dirty, I want it to be wipeable. So on this particular hutch, there's just these rubber seals here. And that's all that's holding this glass in. This glass just pops right out. All right, I've got all the glass out and now it's time to install the hardware cloth. This is like $7 a roll for a 2 by 5 foot section. Okay, this stuff typically comes rolled up. So what I like to do to straighten it out is I'll get this flat here and just walk on it as I hold it up. And sometimes, you know, you gotta get a little crazy with it. It's been rolled up a long time. I'm just using this old glass as a template. Just gonna take a Sharpie and do a quick mark on it. And it's okay if it's a little big. You want it bigger than small, that way you can trim up if you need to. If you don't have the glass, you could always just measure the space that you're trying to fill. This is gonna send sparks off everywhere, so gloves, safety glasses, those are all good ideas for this. If you don't have an angle grinder, you could also use side cutters. Alright, now that I've got it cut out, I'm just fitting this in here, and sometimes you gotta wrestle with it a little to get it to go just where you want it so it doesn't have wrinkles and things. We've done this with chicken wire quite a bit too. Jami likes to go more with the hardware cloth because she feels like it gives it kind of more of a pie safe style look. So I'm gonna just run some 1/2" 18 gauge staples the side corners, and I'm going in at an angle because this is trim and it's routered and I don't want to blow through. Alright, there's the look. I'll go ahead and do the other 7 panels and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished. So we wanted this video to mostly be about spraying, and we used the dinnermint in Fairy Chalk Mother on this, and it sprayed up, if I'm being modest, 10 minutes to paint it and then waited for it to dry, then 10 minutes to seal it. I did 1 coat with pretty much just minimal touch up here and there where I'd actually just completely missed a spot or 2.
We purchased these knobs at Hobby Lobby because there were 2 holes. I didn't feel like filling them, so I bought knobs that had a big enough base that they would cover both of the holes. Sometimes you can get knobs that have like a long skinny base, and those work if the holes are a little bit further apart. If you can't find that, one of my favorite little tricks to do is to use our European frame applique, and I put that on, cover the holes, and then just drill a new hole in the middle. So you can either fill the holes or you can find a way to cover them up. I'm lazy, so this was a good option for me. Plus, I think the white looks really good with the dinnermint. Whenever we used to do hutches, we used to always paint the inside white, and I would get complaints from people that their white dishes didn't pop because the hutch was all white. And I was like, well, dang, I'm not gonna waste time painting the inside. So whenever I wanna do a hutch for people to display their white dishes, I just leave the inside natural, and you can see on this video, all the white dishes really pop. One of the reasons I went with dinnermint was because this hutch in itself is very straight lines, not a lot of interest. So adding a fun color really makes it pop. So if you're looking to add some dimension to a boring straight line piece, or if you resell furniture, remember that fun colors really help make things interesting and make them sell better. If you guys like this video, it would really help us out if you guys would share it on your Facebook, on your social media, because the more shares and reach that we get, the more people that will see it and the more videos we can create as creators. It helps us out a ton and we appreciate it.
So remember, if you have any comments about spraying, about the hardware cloth, I've got some other videos I can direct you to.
Make sure you hit the notifications button so you don't miss any of our DIYs. But tomorrow night we're going to go live with a new product. It's a stencil that I've been hoarding for a while, and it's really fun. So you don't want to miss that out. So if you hit notifications, you'll always know when we go live. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.